Hey, everybody. I've got a special guest to introduce to you today. This is my student, Baya.
Hello.
So Baya, she just told me right before we started recording that her twin flame proposed to her here in Colorado, where I live. How about that? So that's just doubly awesome. I gotta say, I don't know. I like it here. It's a good place to get proposed to. But yeah, so you guys are getting married. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, it's crazy to me too.
Now, how long ago did you guys originally meet?
So it was 7 years, almost 7 years now. Actually,
Okay.
it's been, yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
right on. And then, of course, it was all awesome at first, and then he ran away and
Oh,
he rejected you. And yeah, tell us about that.
okay. So yeah, we did the whole running and chasing thing for actually like 5 years. It was really bad
Mhm.
because I mean, I was so excited to actually realize that he was my twin flame, with all the synchronicities and everything. Like it's just undeniable. So I was really trying to get him to understand our connection. I was like, look at this. Like, we're twin flames. Like, this is
Mhm.
crazy. And I was sending him every article I could find.
And he was
He,
just not given an F.
he was so unreceptive. And I was like,
Yeah.
how do you not see this? But I mean, we were having the telepathy, all of that. He knew we were having it. So I was like, how do you not see it? But
Mhm.
just didn't.
Yeah. Yeah. He can, I mean, usually what happens is they pick up on things that you're thinking, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
they do that. Your twin flame does. And you probably were getting a lot of intuitive hits though too, right?
Yeah.
Like the weird knowing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was very strange when I actually the way I actually first met him is my younger sister's best friend is originally from New York. And she one day was like, oh, like my good friend that I grew up with is moving down here to Florida. And I was just like, oh, I'm not thinking of anything of it. And they all went to dinner together. And I saw a picture the next day and I saw his picture and I was like he looks so familiar. It
Right.
was
Like I know this guy.
yeah, I was like trying to rack my brain, like, where have I met him before? And then I was like, no, I've never met him. But yeah, it was just a
Hmm.
weird familiarity, like very
Yeah.
weird. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I remember. And of course, you know, the part that you don't ordinarily hear people talking about online when you hear people talking about twin flames, typically, kind of the pop culture
Mm-hmm.
messaging around twin flames is the painful part. Usually you get, oh, it's all great and magical and yummy. And no, it's like the most horrible thing that's ever happened. There's the obsessive thinking, the sleepless nights, the bawling yourself to sleep every night. Yeah, you're nodding your
Totally.
head.
Oh my God. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'd be crying everywhere. I'd be crying driving. I'd be like, it was just horrible, just excruciating pain.
And the desperation.
So desperate. I would
Mm-hmm.
first like because we would do the running and chasing for 5 years, and so at first I was like, oh my God, like he has to understand, like I have to go to him, like I have to, he's gonna move on, like your brain and everything's just doing all this, but I was just trying everything in my power.
Mm-hmm. Hey, nice ring, by the way.
Oh, thanks. Thank you.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, all the usual stuff, the ego death, dark night of the soul, which is indescribably intense and painful and desperate. And what exactly was it that you were wanting? What was your desired resolution at that time?
I wanted him to understand me and I wanted him to understand my connection. I wanted him to psychologically reassure me and just kind of get me psychologically,
Mm-hmm.
and have him understand and come back and understand this connection like through the mind.
And you
Mhm.
thought that was how to fix things with him, right? Yeah, that's what everybody tells you to do on the internet. You just got to work it out, which is fine if he was, if it was a conventional relationship, like a soulmate kind of thing. But that just seems to make it worse, huh?
Like things online, they'll tell you to visualize the person, like, write them a letter, things like that. And it's like, oh my God, like that's the opposite of what you should be doing.
Mm-hmm.
I know that now
It
after.
made him run harder.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yep.
And even now we're in a great state, but even now, if I start to fall back into like my old ways, I get too caught up into like the world, then I could feel him start to pull back. And I'm like,
Right.
uh-oh, get back
Yeah.
into, you know.
But now you have the tools to like instantly correct that.
Yeah.
It's not a problem anymore. And the thing is it's the weird thing about this, and tell me if I'm wrong about this, but it's not really mental. You're not going through like a mental checklist. What you're really doing is getting out of mental. And
Mhm.
that's all it is.
Yeah.
And it
You have to
works.
on yourself. Like I always had the focus on him and outside of myself to try to fix myself. Like I wanted somebody outside of me to fix myself. And yeah, you just really have to put your attention on yourself and on your spiritual journey.
Mm-hmm. Well, and technically, and I know what you mean by that, but for the viewers watching, when we say you got to put the attention on yourself, what that really looks like is you remember that you are the source of attention. You
Right.
are the consciousness,
Mhm.
right? And that's what it means to go inward. It's not really like you're going inward. It's that you're remembering that you already are there as the focus. It's very much different than thought-based modalities. There's no figuring it out. There's no looking or seeking. It's just remembering that you are this conscious being. And again, I'm not trying to put words in your mouth. You tell me.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I always have a hard time trying to describe it in words, I
Yeah.
just it always sounds so confusing when I try to describe it. But yeah, it's really about just being totally present and just being kind of above duality, and
Mm-hmm.
not screaming baby analogy. I really like that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that was a good one
yeah.
from the video course. And you're right. It is hard to articulate
Mhm.
because to describe, that's a concept, that is the mind. And this is where we go beyond that. And you remember that you are the being. And maybe the best way to explain it is you just do it. Right? It's like you just, which means there's no real doing, there's no explanation. It's
Hard already. It's hard. It's so hard to describe. Yeah.
it's beyond the mind. So then what happened? You stumbled across me. What'd you find me on YouTube, TikTok?
Mhm.
Where'd you find me at?
On YouTube, and I forgot when I started following you, but I was watching your videos, and when we had like our final like crazy breakup in it was end of July 2020, and I was like, desperate at that time. So I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I have nothing to lose, like I'm just gonna enroll in the course. And honestly, I'm really, really glad I did because it's like you really helped me understand our relationship because like I had already started reading The Power of Now and everything like that. Like my spiritual journey already started when I met him, but
Mm-hmm.
how to apply it to him, like the emotional pull was too strong. Like I was
Yeah.
too, and but you helped me understand like exactly what it is, and it makes so much sense. So yeah, I just started your course, and it's amazing because the group calls too, like like everybody is going through the same thing, and it's awesome to get that support too when you're going through that. It's
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yeah. And it's interesting when you start to realize the connection, the intersection of traditional Zen spiritualism with like everyday situations with this person and how to apply it to those situations. And it's like, before you learn about this, you kind of treat those as two separate things. And I'm over here going, no, it's one thing. They're your soul. And it's your mind that's externalized and focuses so heavily on this person. And the fact is, you actually are this person. And you just have to treat it that way. And it doesn't make sense to the mind.
No,
your mind is probably still sitting there trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
But you don't need to figure it out. So you took my course, you got on the calls, you got the support, you got all your questions answered. Then what happened?
So I just took my spiritual journey really seriously at that point. I was like, I'm just going to be as present as I possibly can be. I'm going to observe myself, the self going crazy, freaking out, like scared, like upset.
Right. You didn't make it about him anymore. Now it's about what your mind is saying about him. It's you. It's your journey.
All about your journey. Like that's kind of the main thing for me that helped me is it's your journey. And so I just took everything very seriously. I was like present all the time. All these weird synchronicities started happening again.
Yeah, that's the fun part.
Yeah. So that actually started raising my spirits, like, because it's very desperate time. And then like I started getting more into flow and feeling better and everything. So after 3 months of being very present, me and my friend Erica actually went out on a Saturday night. We were going to go get some food, and we went to this restaurant last minute that we weren't going to go.
Into him.
He was there.
I knew it.
It
was
like
always happens.
Yeah. Yep. So, but we didn't get back together immediately. It was still, but we were cordial and everything. We kind of talked here and there, but we ended up getting back together like 10 months later. So it took a
right
baggage and
yeah, there's a process that there is. It takes time, and that's actually kind of how it works. You just got to be patient. And I think the way that the deciding to go out to dinner that night precipitated is very interesting because it was so spontaneous, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah. It just felt like the right thing to do.
Very
Funny
odd.
how that works. Yeah. Funny how that works. So now he's all into you. It's all good.
Yeah. And it was amazing because, your mind starts to doubt it. You're like, wow, they're like, this can't be, like he's done with you completely. Like, there's no way you're ever going to get back together. But no, it's true. I mean, it's amazing when you meet them, when you see all the synchronicities and everything, that should be enough for you to understand that they are you and they will come back.
Yeah. You just have to allow it to unfold. People struggle with that. People struggle with that. Well, because of the emotional pull, that's that's the hardest part for people. And that's, I think, the part of my program that is so cherished, strange to say, is to assist people in overcoming those addictive tendencies. That part's really hard. And that's where my coaching comes in, and the group calls too, and the community, there's all the people in there that you can talk to and resources and everything. And
yeah, you really got me through that time. So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. No, my pleasure. And then, tell me about everything else in your life. How has it affected relationships with, I don't know, friends, family, co-workers, associates, other money, whatever?
Yeah, so my life, my whole life changed pretty much. So like once I started being very present, like my whole job changed. I don't know.
Nice.
I just, like a lot of things changed in my life. Like I was like on a prescription medication for a long time that all of a sudden I wanted to get off of. And like, I don't know. Everything in my life just improved.
Your health, your finances, your job situation.
Yeah.
It's
It's
like,
service to your soul rather than duality in the mind.
yes, right. Yeah. And that's the cool thing about this is it's a remembrance. You remember who you are. And then the next thing you know, you just find yourself in situations where you realize what a powerful creator you are. And you're somehow creating all this in partnership with the universe, you could
Mhm.
say.
Absolutely.
You just got to go with the flow.
True.
Well, I got to say, that is fantastic. And, I think the best part about this journey is what you become, like getting your twin flame to stop rejecting you, however that looks like, because everybody has a different outcome, I suppose you could say. Maybe, maybe not. But whatever that is, whatever the outcome is, it does affect you. It does permanently change you. So that's why I say, I think personally, the best part isn't that your twin flame stops rejecting you and actually wants to talk to you really bad all of a sudden. That part's cool. But the best part is what you become. It changes you so fundamentally for life.
Absolutely. It really does. Yeah. And yeah, we actually, like you said, we got engaged in Colorado, and then a year later I moved in, and then we're getting married on, guess what, 11/11.
11/11. That is so badass, dude.
I have to do it. I have to do 11/11. Plus it's Florida, it's hot. It's gonna be
Yeah,
better.
right. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot better in November. Well, Baya, thank you so much for taking the time to share your story. And
Thank
it sure was a pleasure talking to you today. I'm sure everybody else that's watching is enjoying it and inspired by this message. This does work. There are solutions. Thank
you.
you, everybody, for watching today. Have a wonderful week.